Hey everyone, it's JD from Wildwood Wedding Films. I want to go ahead and show you some information on how you can track when someone clicks on your Google ad, submits a form on your website, and in this case you're using Honeybook forms, and then how to measure that as a conversion, which is the language that Google Ads uses. Okay, so first, just go through the basics. Someone's out looking for your website, and not your website specifically, someone's looking for a videographer, and they're on Google and they search for wedding videographers near me. And let's say they click on achocreativemedia.com. I'm sure they're a great company. That's not me, but let's assume someone clicks on that ad. So they're paying for the click. But now the funnel, as the marketers like to say, so we're narrowing the funnel and we find out how many people have clicked on our ad. Well, now how many people are actually going to our website and either clicking to call us or they're clicking and they're submitting a form? Because if they go to our website and then they bounce off, it's really worthless. So we really need to have a metric and also to be able to distinguish how many people found you Google organically versus Google paid, also known as Google Ads. And so when we're looking here, so they click on this. I'm not going to click on that because that would cost them money. And I hate when people click on your ads and then they don't do anything. So don't worry, Acho Creative Media, I'm not going to click on it. Adventure Story Films, they're great. I've worked with them before, but we're not going to click on any of those. But supposing you did, and then you are at a website, here's my website, and then here's my form. Someone goes on and they fill out the form. Well, again, we need to be able to track that as coming from Google Ads. And then also, there's a lot of interesting numbers that we can sort of assess on ROI, return on investment, for that click as well. Okay, now in Honeybook, you're in the form section. You have your form here. The easiest way to do this is we're going to do a after completion redirect to. Now this is under, and honestly, I think Honeybook has kind of made this awkward to navigate, because if you hit the back button here, you're going to go back to the main page. You're not going to see all your forms. So you need to click these three lines. Then you click contact forms, you'll see all your forms. I have the one that I want here. Then I'm going to go on under settings, and I'm going to be able to see after form completion redirect to on the left here. And we're going to type an address. This can be entirely your own. In my case, I want it to be a custom URL that is the base of my, the address of my main website, wildwoodweddingfilms.com. / and then I put thank you form. It can really be thank you form, whatever you want it to be. That's going to be a very simple website that you're going to create. Here we are on Squarespace over here. I created one called Ads Test. I'm going to hit this little gear icon, and notice I did this under not linked. And you can do all this under WordPress or Wix or whatever, it's just slightly different. Hit the gear icon, and then you're going to see here URL slug. If you type thank you form, that will mirror what we have over here. Weddingfilms.com, thank you form. URL slug, thank you form. So that's the first step. You're going to make sure that you're able to type that in a browser at thank you form, and that'll get you to the page we're looking for. And the page is going to be really simple. It's going to be basically your home page, but you're going to replace the content with thank you for contacting us. We're going to be reaching out to you, ... If you haven't heard from us, you could text us here, whatever you want to put. But just some very basic information that we got your message, thanks for submitting. Okay, next. Under advanced here, this is something that you used to have to do. You used to have to put some code in there, and that's where you can inject code from Google Ads, but they've made it actually quite a bit easier recently. And so what I'm going to show you here is after you've created your thank you page and it's at that URL slug, you can then go to Google Conversions, and we can go, and again, you're going to find this, I'm at ads.google.com, click on Tools and Settings, click on Conversions. And a conversion is basically someone clicked on our ad and then they did the next step. The funnel narrows and they gave us real information. They either called us or in our case, they're going to submit a lead form. I went ahead and deleted my conversions prior so that I could do a new one. And we click on create a new one, click on website. And if you don't have phone calls set up, you need to set that up as well. That's actually pretty easy to set up. We're going to go here, website domain. Okay, scan. And then this is where it's a lot easier than it used to be. It's going to give you some information that it will auto detect. Now in this case, it thinks a conversion might be if they click on about. I don't like that. For me, that's not enough. I want them to have submitted the form. That's what I want to see. And we're going to go here. We're going to delete that one, decline suggestion. The URL is not relevant. Because someone could view that page. It doesn't mean I have their information. Contact. Again, doesn't mean they actually contacted me. Whereas I know that if they submit the Honeybook form, they're not going to get to the thank you page by accident. It can't happen. In fact, in Squarespace and most other places, what you can do here is under, let's see, SEO. There we go. Under SEO, you can click here, hide page from search results. So now we know they're only getting to this page unless they are specifically filling out the form. And if they did that, we want to measure it. So also make sure you check that box. Now, down here, we're going to decline the suggestion. This one is good. We can make it more specific. It says that starts with thank. I don't know. In the event that you have a blog post that starts with thank, let's just make it URL starts with, URL is thank you form ad. Okay. You can also do manual conversions, and there's a few other ways to do events. I believe here we can also do a submit lead form. The problem is I've had this at times not show up. It probably will work. Let's assume they have updated it. But in my case, I would not trust this. But it should work. But in the past, it didn't work for me when I tried it. Okay. Submit lead form, URL is dot. Okay. Now, that's going to do roughly the exact same thing. So I basically have created duplicate options here. And then you're going to go to settings, thank you form, got it, okay, done. Okay, now, here's the important part. Okay, and this is where if you click save and continue, you're basically done. And again, you don't have to do both of these options, either page view, and then again, submit lead form, it should work. I've had it where it hasn't. I can't explain why. It may have been a bug. But again, Google has updated this several times, so it should work. But in the first way I've told you, it's very easy and it will work. Now, you've done this, okay? So now you know in your Google Ads, it's going to say, in addition to you have paid X amount of dollars for X amount of clicks. Well, what if we want to know what the actual cost is through Google Ads to get a customer, to get a couple, to get a client? Well, there it gets trickier because, again, we're talking about the funnel and you're paying, let's say you pay $10 per click. You pay $10 per click and you spend $100 and of that $100, of the people that click through, let's say you've got good results and 5 people submit a contact form. So you pay $100 for 10 clicks, and of those 10 clicks, of the 10 people that visit your website, 5 of them liked what they saw so much that they're then going to to fill out the form and send that information to you. Okay, so it cost us $100 for 10 clicks. More importantly, as the funnel got narrower, it becomes clear we paid $100 for 5 forms. So it costs $20 per form submission. Okay, well, hopefully you've done this long enough, and if you haven't, you'll learn on the fly, and you'll get the data and you'll analyze it. And so now, how many forms do we need after we've contacted them? How many forms do we need to land a couple, to book them as a wedding couple? Well, it's not one-to-one usually. So as great as your work is, they might not identify with you after they've talked to you. Maybe you're too expensive. Maybe you don't offer packages grand enough for your wedding. Whatever it may be, whatever the reason is, it's probably not going to be one-to-one. So let's assume for every 5 forms that are submitted, you're usually, and again, this is going to change. Maybe we get better at telling couples about your offerings, but it's usually going to be like 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1, could be even 10-to-1. But let's assume it's 5-to-1. So of those people that submitted forms, you talked to all 5 of them, and one of them decided they wanted to pay you and book your services. So what that really means now is the value is it costs $100 in Google Ads to get one couple. So what we can do here is under settings, either one of these, we'll go to value. Use the same value for each conversion. I would put the value in here. So again, we talked, and how much is each conversion worth? Well, let's suppose your package is $2,000, okay? And we then need to assess how much profit you want from that $2,000. So let's assume, and we can also assume how much advertising cost you want to have for that particular wedding. So say, for example, it's a $2,000 wedding, and each form that's submitted, and let's say it costs $100 for the form, well, we have to ask ourselves now, what is the value of this conversion? Because it's not $2,000 and it's not $100. So here's where it gets a little bit tricky, because I would not. So for example, if you read over here, Google, if you sell only one type of product, enter the value from each sale, for example, $20. Well, I wouldn't put that in there because you're going to have metrics that are not accurate. And so what I would do is I would think, how much profit do I generate on average per wedding? And so for a $2,000 wedding, maybe you're making $1,000. I don't know your numbers. And then for that $1,000 in profits, and it takes 5 leads to get that $1,000, well, that means that each lead is $200. Because this math that they're going to give you, is really like shopping cart math. We know that if they hit checkout, the value of the conversion is exactly what the checkout cart is. But in your case, you have expenses. You're not able to sell an unlimited amount of widgets or whatever you're selling. So again, you need to find out your profit per wedding and then divide that by how many leads it takes on average to close that wedding. And that's how I would do it. And there's no right or wrong answer. And there's plenty of people who've written more than I have on this topic. But just know that for me, I would not put $2,000 in there. Because if you decide at a later time to try and optimize for return on investment and conversion value, which are options in Google settings, and if you have $2,000 in there, the lead cost is not going to match right. You're going to give them the wrong data. So hopefully as you go through Google Ads, you'll be able to learn this information and learn how to grasp the value of each lead. Click-through conversion window, 90 days. Basically what that means is they clicked on your ad, they went home, they thought about it, and they're like telling their fiance, hey, this is a cool website, and then they pull it up again, and then a week later they pull it up again, and then maybe 3 weeks from then they submit the form. Well, through cookies and through other technologies, Google will still track that as one conversion, and they'll track it the whole way through. And so I find that to be a good one. And then, yeah, I don't really want to get any more complicated than that. I might do a test in the future to see if the submit lead form works for me. In fact, I might even do it right now by getting rid of that one. And the wonders of technology. So internal error occurred. Please try again later. So even Google, with all their resources, we get some errors. But trust me, when you do hit save, it usually saves it to your conversions. So hopefully this was helpful. And again, Google Ads is really tricky because they want as many clicks for you as possible so they can take as much money as you have to spend on advertising. So it's on you to learn how to use your money judiciously and make sure that every click that you're paying for counts, and you can figure out, am I actually making money on this? Because a lot of times people are saying, become a six-figure photographer. Well, I can tell you right now that if you sell wedding packages at $2,000, and supposing you have $50,000 in your bank account to spend on Google Ads, we could easily get you to six figures in revenue for selling photography packages. It's not difficult. It's just a matter of getting in front of the right number of customers. As long as your portfolio is not terrible, you could do that. But you're not going to make any money. And this is a really hard business to make money in. So just be aware that if you're not really actively looking at your numbers, it's very easy for you to spend the money and get no return on it. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, like and subscribe. I'm going to do a lot more Google Ads content, a lot more on SEO, SEM, and some of the things that I'm trying to implement. Like I know a lot of SEO knowledge, but that I still haven't implemented because I've been so busy. Fortunately, the next month or two is going to be a little bit calmer, so I'll get that content out to you. Thank you.